Hey, come see us in Ashland, Virginia, Athens, Georgia, Rutherford, New Jersey at the Icarus Festival, and Minneapolis, Minnesota. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets. You remember when we covered this? This is the Prime Minister, Robert Fico, or Fico. I don't know how you say his name, but he's the Prime Minister of Slovakia, and he came out and ordered an investigation into COVID policies, vaccine, and why people were dying. And then he also came out, and he was against the Ukrainian war. He turned on that. He says Ukraine's been under U.S. control since 2014, and so the Russian military was forced to use Russia was forced to use military force. He also said the Ukraine must give up territory to end Russian invasion. And when Kurt just told me that when we cover this, we covered those two stories back to back, and we said, boy, this guy really is looking to catch some lead. And well, it turns out he did. He caught some lead today. So that's very sad news. Slovak Prime Minister Robert Fico in life-threatening condition after being shot. And if you're going to be on the right side of history, it just seems like you're going to catch some lead. Mm-hmm. And that's what this is about. He's on the right side of history. And Slovakia still plays by 1960s rules, where a bullet was the only censorship factor. And America has been inculcated into knowing that the smoking gun is always in the hands of the power cult. Don't forget that. And then there's always going to be an unwitting sap to play the patsy, and that's what they have here. So Slovak Prime Minister was in a life-threatening condition after he was shot in a politically motivated assassination attempt when leaving the government meeting on Wednesday. The gunman shot Fico 5 times, leaving the prime minister in critical condition and still undergoing surgery hours later on Wednesday evening. The shooting in the central Slovak town of Handlova, which Slovak media say was carried out by a 71-year-old man. So I know Kurt's theory on this is that they got to him. He's mind controlled. He's a piece of patsy. And they did this to send a message. And that message is when they're cornered, they are very dangerous animals, because that's what this guy was doing. He was out there telling the truth about Ukraine. He refused to go along. He was against the sanctions on Russia. He wouldn't give military armaments to Ukraine. And he ordered an investigation over the COVID vaccine. Any one of those things is enough to have lead flying his way. And that's what happened. Slovak news media reported the shooter was a former security guard at a shopping mall and an author of 3 collections of poetry and a member of the Slovak Society of Writers. So they got to this guy somehow. News outlet cited his son as saying his father was the legal holder of a gun license. I have absolutely no idea what my father intended, what he planned, what happened. The news agency quoted his son as saying, they reported that 4 shots had been fired and that the leftist prime minister had been hit in the abdomen. Okay. He has grown increasingly critical of the Western support of Ukraine in its war with invading Russian forces and has expressed opposition to allowing Kiev to join NATO in the future. So this 71-year-old man, oh, you pronounce his name Fico? Fico. Okay, Fico. Wow, that's quite a pronunciation. So somehow this 71-year-old man with magical Jedi powers to be able to sneak a firearm in to get that close to begin with. Yeah. So he's the Lee Harvey Oswald of Slovakia. And I bet we'll never really find out what happened. Hey, just like we never found out what happened with that guy who attacked Nancy Pelosi's husband. Now, the only interview I saw of him was a complete bullshit interview, which was over the phone. So, isn't that funny? You think they'd have nothing but nonstop, round-the-clock interviews of that guy? It would get great ratings, but they don't do it. So anyway, this they're going to make it out. I bet they're going to try and make it out that this guy was just a crazed gun loner nut. He went off his nut, and that's what happened. But of course, we know there's more to it. Just a coinkydink. Just a coinkydink that this guy stands up against NATO and Big Pharma, and next thing you know, he's catching lead. So Big Pharma is revealed to be another ancillary arm of the military-industrial complex, just like the news media, just like Boeing. So all those 70s thrillers were more truthful than 2 hours of nightly news these days. Keep that in mind. So, okay. That's that. We pray for, I don't know if you pray. I certainly hope that guy survives. That's a real tragedy. Again, if you stand up and tell the truth, and if you're on the right side of history, they're either going to throw you in jail or you're going to catch lead. Or they'll Jeffrey Epstein you, or they'll find kiddie porn on your computer, or all those things could happen. So that is what happened. He's on the right side of history on a couple of big issues, and you can't do that. Look what they did to Imran Khan in Brazil. I mean, in Pakistan. Look what they did to Lula and then Bolsonaro. Both. They criminalized both of them. And now they're doing it to Stop Cop City here. They're doing it to the Uhuru socialists here, and they're doing it to Donald Trump and his political following. That's the new game. Hey, we're doing stand-up in Ashland, Virginia, Athens, Georgia, Rutherford, New Jersey, Minneapolis, Minnesota, Ontario, California, Irvine, California, Las Vegas, Davenport, Iowa, Chicago, Grand Rapids. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets, and make sure you go to jimmydore.com and don't go to a second reseller. Not good.